Hey everybody, good morning. This is Alexandra. If you don't know who I am the owner and founder of Mama and Ruse, and I wanted to touch base with you all in the Catholic Woven Wraps group. I'll post this in the YouTube for anybody who is interested. You can go ahead and go to the link. I'm going to put it on the YouTube video for the Facebook group if you're interested in the Catholic design order that we're going to do to hopefully be delivered by Christmas. That's my current goal. So we've got a design poll up. So if you're in the group, if you've taken a look at the poll, I am still working on putting some mock-ups on the carriers themselves. I just wanted to talk for a couple minutes about about what's going on with the designs and just some basic input to hopefully help you to decide what you might choose. Once I get those up, I will go ahead and set a date to kind of close the poll. So the purpose of the poll is to say, okay, do we have a committed number of meters approximately that it looks like we can go ahead and weave them? So depending on the weft and kind of how it works with LennyLamb's schedule. We would need 50 meters. There are some that require 100 meters. I'm hoping that these fall in the 50 meters. And I believe that's about, about 30 carriers, maybe 20 wraps, I think it is the approximate to make sure that it gets on the loom. And so the purpose of the poll is for you to say, hey, if these designs are made, I would definitely want to purchase them, and I would definitely want to purchase it in this type of carrier. And so that way you can kind of add up as a commitment to say, okay, so we have about X number of wraps and carriers. I think that's, pretty close, or that's over the amount that we would need for meters for this. Let's go ahead and send it to the loom. So if you aren't 100% sure, you don't have to vote. I don't want you to vote if you're not sure. Keep in mind that if, let's say I have a commitment and it looks like about 50 meters, maybe I'll order 50 meters, maybe I'll order 60 to have a little bit extra, but I'm not going to order 100 if we only have a commitment of 50, right? So there will be some that, would be available to some people who haven't voted in the poll. But if you don't vote, there is the possibility that it would run out. I'm not saying it will for sure, but there's the possibility. So just some things to think about. But I don't want you to commit if you're really not sure, because I want to make sure that we're making good use of resources, frankly. And I don't want to have a lot of excess of the stuff here if people don't like it and people don't want it. I want to have something that people like and people want. So that's why I want to try to be as upfront as possible. I know some of these pre-orders can be really can be stressful for some people. I totally get that. I try to take as much of that as possible off of you and try to be as clear as possible. We work with LennyLamb. I've worked with LennyLamb since 2019. They are a wonderful partner for us. I love them. They're really great people. And what, there are always some designs, or there are always some things you're like, I don't know if I like that. But truly, I have never received something and been like, oh, they did a good job. They will do a good job. So if you like the design, and you want a carrier, a bag, even a wrap. If you like the design, they're going to do a good job with it. So I wouldn't worry about that aspect. They're going to make it look nice. They do a really good job. They know what they're doing. They know so much more about the science of the loom and all of that than I do. It's really cool. It's an art and a science. It takes a lot of skill, especially for the jacquard weaves. And we have some great articles kind of describing that process, and I've posted some graphics and things, and I can repost things if they're helpful. But these are woven materials, and so what they do is they'll weave like the whole 50 meters or 100 meters or whatever it is that we tell them we want to purchase. They'll weave all of that until it's a natural stopping point in their process, right? I don't know exactly what it is, so they'll weave all that fabric. It'll be done. They'll finish the end, however they do, and then they will cut it into the sections that we need for the different carriers, accessories, whatever it is, and then they'll sew it so that it'll be made custom exactly for you. The jacquard hard weaves will have a reverse option. So so for the Stella Maris, I'm probably saying that wrong. That print with the blue and the more maritime theme, you know, that's currently blue with white elements. I imagine the reverse will probably be white with blue elements, right? And so you could also order it in that also when the ordering time comes. So right now though, we are trying to get an idea of, you know, what would you order and in what. Now, I did post a Celebrating the Eucharist print. It's not exactly the way that I envisioned. I showed it to my husband. He said, oh, I like it. Just post that. I might still post another version that's more of what my initial vision was. I kind of took a little bit of a journey there. We can also revisit some of these. So we can look at it again for another round. I just had a lot of different things going on, so that's why it's kind of take a while between the two rounds. And we also had a lot of feedback for more of the Immaculate Heart, so we kind of did that mini round, if you remember, too. But, you know, for this one, that's what we're looking for. We can do one design. We can do more than one design if there's enough interest. But again, that's really why I want to see with the poll, because I'd hate to, you know, open 2 designs and then ultimately have to close and cancel and refund everybody because we don't have anywhere near that for either, right? Like I don't want that to happen. So that's why I'm asking in the poll. Go ahead and put in the comments, you know, if you like 2 different designs, vote for 2 different designs if you'd purchase them. But tell me in the comments if both ran, would you purchase both, or would you only purchase one if one ran? That's completely valid, and you know, just gives me an idea of realistically if what we would do or not do. Okay. A little bit about the different fabrics. So I did put a broken twill option. I know a couple of you asked for a less expensive option. And you know, the thing is, these are ethically made. They are, like I said, by really high quality items. They are woven. It's not a screen print. The broken twill is still not a screen print. It's still woven. The broken twill is just a much thinner fabric. I don't know if I should have brought one over here. I don't have a piece over here right now. But it's a thinner fabric, and it'll look the same generally on both sides. And so, but it will have the stripes. So some people like the striping. I went ahead and did a gold and white, and I might have messed up the little screenshot I took a little bit, but the vision is that it's kind of like in sets of 3s with the thinner white and gold and then the thicker white and gold to kind of be the Trinity and kind of have more Catholic colors. So there's not going to be any specific Catholic imagery in that one because I can't do that kind of thing in that kind of weave, but that is a broken twill. I imagine that would be around the pricing like of the Air Glow that's on our store on Mama and Ruse, so you can kind of peruse that and see for that if that's something that you like. If not, that's okay too. We have the Stella Maris print design, I should say, and that was the same designer as who did Immaculate Hearts. So the way that's shown is kind of like this long piece right now. We would probably have to tweak that a little bit just to make sure that that's going to weave properly on the carriers and the wrap. I'm going to try to show what that looks like on a mock-up to see what I think we might do, but it would end up being a conversation with LennyLamb's designer, so I'm just kind of letting you know that. It's like the kind of the waves that are on the top and bottom. We might decide to move those. It might end up being that there's some waves in the middle of the panel for a like an SSE or a hybrid carrier. That's probably what I'm going to go ahead and show when I kind of do the sample mock-up. But there will be some tweaking with some scaling and things with that to make sure that that kind of looks good. So I'm just letting you know that, but we will keep to the original design as much as possible. We're just going to have to play with the scaling there a little bit. But that's the theme there, and I'm sure that would come out. I'm sure that would come out very nice. And like I said, it'll kind of be the blue with the white on one side and probably the white with the blue on the other. Then we have the Gregorian chant. I think I put a note in there. So I'm pretty sure at the scaling we're looking at, the music notes on there would be pretty small. So if you want to head over to one of the symphony prints, you'll see some are like really big music notes and big things. Look on there for like the really small staffs, because I think that that's ultimately the size it probably will be. Again, I'm going to try to show it as best as I can on these, but some of these are just a little bit tricky for me to scale that way. So take the mock-ups kind of as this is a very, very general idea of what it will look like. It's not a promise for the scale and layout. I know sometimes it's easier to see like what might it look like in fabric. And so that's kind of my vision for that. That's why I wanted to kind of introduce it this way. So you kind of know, like, I'm not trying to mislead anybody. I'm just trying to be honest. There's a lot of limitations, but I do think sometimes it's nice to kind of imagine on, on something like that what it might look like. So that's what I'm trying to put together. And so for the Gregorian chant, I'm really not sure what the reverse might look like. It's possible that they would take like the black for the music notes, and that would be the bass, and then the other colors would be on the reverse. So like that more like off-white would be like the notes on the other side. But I'm just not really sure, and I'm not 100% sure if we might have to alter some of the other colors. I'm just not sure yet. So we would send it, we would get that feedback. I just want to let you know that we will keep as, you know, to feel of it as much as possible. But that's a possibility to kind of swap, and I'm not quite sure what the reverse would look like just yet. It kind of depends what they end up pulling as that sort of main color to weave through. That's really the ultimate, and that's about the extent that I know of the weaving process. I wish I knew more, and I'd love to learn more, but that's all kind of I know about that right now. Celebrating the Eucharist. I think I don't know if I mentioned it here or mentioned in the group. I don't know. I had a vision, and then I put that up. I might go ahead and put another version up too. It's just going to depend how much people like that and would like to see more of that. And then if we want to kind of do a runoff between the two of them, that's fine too. So I'll probably finish it and put it up there, and you guys can tell me what you like and don't like, and we could come back to it too. And same thing, I'm not quite sure what the reverse might look like for that too. It's just going to be what they pull. But I did a lot of like the gold and white there too. I wanted to kind of coordinate with the broken twill in case we wanted to run that along with it, you know, just in case. And so they would coordinate. So those are the kind of the main colors there. So it might end up being like a gold and white on the back. Yeah. As far as weights, I tried to put some estimates. The broken twill would end up being the lightest, probably the Gregorian chant and would be the heaviest. I think that Celebrating the Eucharist would be probably close to the Gregorian chant. It just kind of depends on a few different things. I'm not really sure. The other version I'm doing would definitely be more mid to light, along with the Stella print would be more mid to light in terms of weight. I do have an article though about weight. Weight isn't everything. And then of course I mentioned something about fancy fibers, and so again, fancy just means anything that's not 100% cotton. And so the challenge with that is that those yarns they're special, and they're not always available in every color. They're not always available every time of the year. And so it would kind of be, if we have a lot of interest in running something in a special fiber, we would kind of run it by LennyLamb and say, can you do it in any specialty fibers? What fibers do you have that you could make these colors and make that work? And they would kind of give us that feedback and that pricing. The jacquard weaves would be priced probably similarly to Jurassic Park New Era on our website. That's probably similar for the fancy fibers. You could go ahead and look at the Birdie White Noise. I think that's a fancy fiber. That would be a good comparison. I don't have all of the things in there, but that would be a good comparison. And yeah, we would finalize pricing, and that I just, I know it's hard, like to do, like, we'll do a commitment, but I don't know exact pricing, and I'm not trying to put somebody in an uncomfortable position. I'm really not. I just, it's just one of those things that, I'll have to buy them all up front, including any extra fabric we do need to meet the minimum. And so I just want to make sure that it really is something that people want made, right? If you don't like it, that's okay. Like, if you don't like something, it's okay. We don't have to run anything, but I would love to run something that you do want. And I want to make sure it's actually something that people want, right? Because if we just pick because we like the look of it, but we have no interest in purchasing it, then, potentially we're not really making what people actually want to purchase, right? And so I want to make sure that we're doing that. We're not, kind of wasting resources and wasting people's time and energy, right? So that's all there. I'm happy to answer more questions. We have several albums and featured posts of the looks of the different styles of carriers and the different accessories and things like that. So hopefully that's helpful. And definitely post if you have questions about what any of that looks like or what it will be. As soon as I have more information about each step, I will definitely provide it. I'm hoping it would be delivered to you by Christmas. I can't 100% promise as of right this second, but I know kind of the sooner we kind of get that finalized, then the easier that will be. And it's really just kind of seeing what happens. I hope that helps. Thank you so much. I really appreciate all of you. And yeah, if you have questions or if you need anything, let me know. Have a great day. Thank you.